empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
Welcome to the AfterMat, your source for WWE pay-per-view recaps. I'm your host, the People's Champ Cal, and alongside me, as always, I have my tag team partner, the Glamazon Delisha. What's going on, Delisha?
Hello. I'm glad that the pay-per-view wasn't as long as it could have been last night.
Yeah, that I was asking what you thought about it, and I do have a little bit something to say about it before we get started. But yeah, I mean, like, it was not as long as we thought it'd be, because I usually end around after 11, but since they had like one or two less matches than normal, and some of the matches are relatively short, or they're actually all about the same length. We didn't have any matches that are like 30 to 40 minutes long, if I'm not mistaken. But let me go ahead and say hi, people in chat. We got Big Time in here, Bobby Slater, what's going on? And Aaron, how are you guys? Welcome. Thank you guys for joining us. Probably get to your thoughts in a little bit as well, if you guys want to chime in. But like, Felicia, your overall thoughts on the pay-per-view without, giving away your grades and all that.
It didn't suck, so I'm happy about that. I can't remember. Did they do Stomping Ground last year?
This is the first time they've ever done it. It's the first
Okay.
time they named it and did it.
Okay. I mean, it sounds. I don't know.
And I can remember.
Okay, it is. I don't know if generic's the right word, but it doesn't sound like wrestling pay-per-view. But for what it's worth, I did for the most part enjoy myself. There were some matches I was just like, oh, that's okay. But there wasn't anything like, well, that was a dud.
See, for me, like I know a lot of people are talking, especially like the Road Raider that you guys know is Tom Zambino, who's not joining us. He hasn't really watched the pay per view, but he didn't like the pay per view name. A lot of people didn't like the pay per view name, which I didn't mind. I thought it was actually a better name than it replaced Great Balls of Fire. Granted, Great Balls of Fire is a hilarious name to have, and it made no sense whatsoever. But like all those times we saw like Sasha Banks, they had all those pictures of like Sasha Banks standing with their head like blocking the because they write it around the arena on the back, like around the awnings and stuff, and like you'd see it like saying like great ball, like her head would be blocking of fire and it'd say great balls sometimes, then other times her head would be blocking great and it said balls of fire. Like it was just so funny to see. I guess it was like her height was the perfect height to block the sides and the way that camera's always angled. So like that's funny, but like I think Stomping Grounds is a more apropos name compared to Great Balls of Fire.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know. But the thing I had to say about this, and like I've been reiterating this so many times, like I know if they have a brand split, which they do have a brand split, kind of, but if they have brand split pay-per-views, it would be more work for us, right? But we'd be seeing more wrestlers. We had 9 matches. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get the math right here, but we had 9 matches. 7 of those were championship matches or title matches. So like, only 2 of those matches did not involve championships, which was like I think the Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan one, as well as another tag team one. I think it was Kevin Owens versus whoever they were fighting, the New Day, I guess. So like that's taking away from a lot of people who don't have titles, and there's not a lot.
I'm about to say technically it was the New Day and KO and Sammy, and then Roman Reigns and Drew Gulak. Like those were the 2 non-title matches.
You know what I said?
No, you said Daniel Bryan and Heavy Machinery.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. Oh yeah. I know. Yeah. So whatever. So like 2 of the 9 matches were not. So we're missing a lot of wrestlers. Is what I'm trying to say, and that's like the one thing that we've always been knocking on is that we're not getting the wrestlers that we want to see. Like Finn Balor, I think is the IC champion. He wasn't even on it. No AJ Styles.
Well, we did.
I mean, but you know what I mean? Like wrestling. Wrestling. No AJ Styles. No Revival, like all these people that people are clamoring to see that are saying are being wasted, that I want to leave for other organizations. We're not seeing them because it's no brand split, and we have all this talent, and we have a few belts. And I remember saying this before when they said the next pay-per-view after WrestleMania is no more brand split. I said, what are they going to do if we have like this many titles? And what are we gonna have like 8-hour pay-per-views, or are we just only going to show the championship matches? And
that's said there wasn't any more brand split.
They said this like remember when they ended it. Like, when they stopped having when they stopped having Raw pay-per-view, SmackDown pay-per-view, Raw pay-per-view, SmackDown.
Oh, okay. Oh,
and then combined being like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, like that.
Okay.
Which I can understand those being the longer pay-per-views because those were like the marquee pay-per-views. But back then, welcome Brain Killer, welcome Gumbo as well. That's what I'm saying. Like when I said once we lose that, I call it a brand split, but you know what I mean? Like not having separate pay-per-views.
Gotcha.
Each brand, it is what is going to destroy it then, because like, we're either going to have 8-hour pay-per-views so that we can see everyone we want to see, or only title matches. And like we're saying, we've seen Shane McMahon on TV way too much, right? Like people like, and they're saying, I think it was Big Time or somebody who tweeted it. Big Time either retweeted it or Sidewalk retweeted it. It was somebody that retweeted. Maybe it might have been even Slater who retweeted it, saying like instead of seeing people like the Revival, Shinsuke, Rusev, Elias, Finn Balor, and like a bunch of other people, we're seeing Shane McMahon for like. And Shane McMahon took an hour. I think no joke, an hour up of Raw from all the segments that they took up, including commercials. It took up like an hour of one of the Raws that we had leading up to Stomping Ground. So like. That's the thing. Like the brand split was hard. I mean, the brand split pay-per-views were harder for us because we had more work to do. But at least the people got what they want. Because now you see the pay-per-view buys are going down. Well, I can't say buys because it's WWE Network, but the ticket sales are definitely going down and all that kind of stuff. And there's more dissension amongst like the superstars and stuff like that who don't want to work, who are not getting work or anything like that. I think it's not a good idea. Like I would take the extra work just to have see people like Finn Balor and all that. And like, when they bring back a Bray Wyatt or whatever his name will be when he comes back and all that kind of stuff, like what are they going to do? Like you don't even see Cena, like you don't even see Cena. Like I know Cena's doing his own thing now, but like people like that, like who are used to saying The Miz was even on this pay-per-view. I love The Miz. The Miz was even on it. You know, like, so like we're missing out on all these marquee caliber wrestlers and superstars and all that. And, you know, and not even on the female. We haven't mentioned the females like Asuka and all those people. You know, like who Mandy they're giving a push to earlier and all that kind of stuff. Like we're not seeing any of them either. Charlotte we saw in the backstage segment. You know what I mean? But like I'm talking about like see them actually there. Nia Jax, but Nia Jax is injured. I know, but when she comes back, are they gonna have room for her? Same thing with Ronda Rousey. All these people we're not seeing, and like it's gonna be even harder to see unless we have like those long pay-per-views. Like, because I'm glad that the first thing you said is like, oh, it wasn't a 4.5 hour pay-per-view. But is it going to end up being now when they start having to show these guys and ladies? Because, you know, we're missing out on all that talent.
Well, I feel like I agree with you up to a point, but I feel like when we, like, again, it wasn't that it was more work for us when they had the singular brand pay-per-views. It was just that I was getting fatigued. Like, that was just me personally. I was getting fatigued and almost like, I was like, I don't even feel like watching. This is just too much. Like, we keep joking there's 80,000 hours of wrestling and that's just WWE, but there is a fatigue point, especially when when a good portion of these pay-per-views just felt like filler. So I think again what we've always come down to when we're talking about our issues is writing. It's really what it all comes down to. Because they very well could be building up multiple storylines to okay, we'll focus on this storyline a little bit heavily for the pay-per-view, but we'll still have the secondary storyline going on, so that will transition more into as we get to the pay-per-view after that. But yeah, because it sometimes it feels like when we get like a uptick in good storyline, especially once we're getting up for WrestleMania, that's when probably their best stories seem to come about. But again, like I said, I think a lot of times comes down to the writing. Like this Shane stuff, I am so over it, and we'll get to that later once we get to that actual match. But and then the whole freaking wild card stuff that they're doing on Raw and SmackDown, to where and initially I just thought it would be from time to time we would see wrestlers going to and fro different brands, but this is every week, and I'm like, well. Again, like you said, that if you're going to do that, then you might as well not have like the split. But we do know it's for them to gear up to see other people show up once they do that Fox merger. Once they head over to Fox. But yeah, again, for me, I just think it comes down to the writing and the stories they're trying to tell are just not translating to the masses, I should say.
And Big Time did address this, I think, in a tweet before, and he's saying it again here. He goes, they need to keep 3 brands. Binary and have 1 brand on the road per month and rotate them out. That way they always have 2 brands at home and at any given time and keep the talent fresh. That is true, but I mean, I still don't mind having the 2 separate brands because that way they'll have the writing is going to matter too, but you need a spot to place all that talent, right? Because if you even if you have the best writing, people are going to want to see them, right? But then like that means we're going to have the long pay-per-view. Because let's say they were a great story for AJ. So they were a great story for Miz. If they're not fighting each other, that's two different matches that they have on the card, along with the championships. Then they write a great story for somebody else as well. Think about all that's adding up. We're gonna have a giant pay-per-view, like a WrestleMania every month, 7-hour pay-per-view kind of thing. That's exhausting.
But I could counter you with that with NXT, where they have a pay-per-view every so few months or so, and they don't always get the talent that you're always seeing a story getting written for on the week-to-week shows, but they do sort of like a main storyline that they want to tell, and they throw in some secondary ones that they could work in down the line. So that's why I said a lot of times it does come down to writing. And again, I don't own a multi-billion-dollar business with all these moving parts. So I know it can be somewhat of a not difficult task to do, but I know it takes a lot. But I don't know, man. It's just there's so many like different facets of what us fans feel like we could do to make it better, and then what actually turns out. So I don't know. It's feel like there's a lot of moving parts that could probably produce a better product, but we're not in the driver's seat. So I just try to take it as it is and try to still enjoy what I've loved since I was a kid.
Yeah, see, I don't watch NXT TV like you do weekly, so I don't know how the stories go. But I do know, I do watch Takeover pay-per-views because they're fantastic. They're always great. But the last pay-per-view, NXT Takeover, whatever it was, Toronto, I don't know what it
25?
was. Yeah, okay, is that what it was called? I don't know what the name was, but it was Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano, I think, in the main event. But there's 5 matches, okay? And there's only 5 matches, so not even the 9. It's like less than half. A little bit less than half. I mean, a little bit more than half of the matches that this past card had. So there's only 5 matches. 3 of the 5 matches featured Undisputed Era, right? So it started out with Roderick Strong, and then second match they should have done 1, 3, and 5. Would have been better for my OCD, but it was 1, 2, 5. Number 2 was like the triple threat ladder match, which had like O'Reilly and Fish, and then the final was Adam Cole. But yes, like that's like saying 7 of the 9 matches of the pay-per-view is a title match. Some things, we got a lot of chat going on right now. Platinum saying, Gumbo saying, where W is losing revenue due to superstars running out of their contracts. It's time for AEW. But Big Time brings up a great point because AEW lets their talent work multiple contracts. So let's say they can't work this pay-per-view, they can at least go fight in New Japan or something, or all those other brands. That's what AEW lets them do. So they're not missing out when they're getting paid. Whereas,
but everyone on WWE is still getting paid whether they're on the pay-per-view or not.
I don't think they get the bonus of like working at pay-per-view.
They may not get the bonus, but they're still getting paid more than what they would being on the independent scene.
I don't know now with these new contracts or not. I'm not sure. The world is too small to let them get money. And welcome, Otero. All right, we talk a lot about this, like the pay-per-view and all. Let's actually get into the pay-per-view. That's a good debate. Maybe we should have that for like the final after talk. It's up to you guys, but maybe we can have some people on with you guys if you guys want to have it as a final, season finale of episode 1. Because we're thinking about doing 4 episodes per season. Maybe talk about the current world of wrestling, the situation of how it is. So you can talk with Nicole about it. And there's a lot of people in China that are going in about this, like AEW and New Japan and all this kind of stuff. We don't really talk about the other companies and stuff like that, but we're kind of seeing us losing from our own stuff, the WWE stuff, with like great superstars not being shown. So maybe that's something to think about to do in the future. But yeah, let's get into the pay-per-view. There was a pay-per-view last night, and it was called Stomping Ground. And it kicked off with a cruiserweight match, which featured your cruiserweight champion Tony Nese against Akira Tozawa, right? I got that right? And Drew Gulak, who apparently is a cruiserweight. I didn't know he's a cruiserweight, but apparently he's a cruiserweight. So I think
he's been one this whole time.
He looks like he's like bigger than me, and like there's no way I'm 205. So like I don't know. This guy's pretty big.
Hey, bodies are all body types are different.
I know, but just look at him. All right. Anyway, go ahead with this match.
Also, side note, I wish they would have told Akira to not put the mouth guard in his mouth for the promotional shot. Just saying. Anyway, so going back to the 1,000 hours of wrestlings a week. Since WrestleMania, I haven't really been watching 205 much. A lot of times I will say I forget. And but I think it's because I hadn't really been into Tony Nese as champion. I can't really put my name on it, but didn't really do anything for me. So I guess I wasn't really in tuned to watching 205 Weekly. So I don't really know the backstory on how the triple threat came about. I do know that there was some sort of singles match between Tozawa and Gulak, I believe, and I believe in a no contest. And then general manager Drake Maverick decided to make a triple threat, and then we have this show. And then, of course, as with any 205 match, whether they get that small chance on the main card or as usual on the pre-show, they it's a great match of high-flying personalities going back and forth. Although we do have a mix of personalities with these three, as we have Drew Gulak, who is like the no-fly zone. That was like his character persona for a while. So he's going to be more of the power moves and power strengths like that. And then Nese, kind of similar, but he can go to that high-flying, jumping over the top rope if need be. And then we have Akira, who's the striker, but also the more high-flying, high-intensity, kind of like Ricochet-esque type of moves. But I feel like the main takeaway here, it's gonna be somewhat near the finish, to where Nese was sent outside the ring by, I think it was Tozawa, and then Gulak landed some sort of like, they're calling it like a torture rack, like net breaker type move. on to Tozawa to get the 1-2-3 to get his first cruiserweight championship title reign after being, I think, in there for about maybe 2 years, maybe. So kudos to him. It actually brings my interest back into the cruiserweight championship because one, he is a Philly native, so gotta support, and I feel like his character has a little bit more charisma to it, to where I am actually more interested. So like I did, in full disclosure, I only saw like the last 5 minutes of the match and didn't have time to go back and rewatch the whole 15-minute match. But the ending that I saw, I liked. So, what did you think?
I mean, I don't really watch the cruiserweights, but I did enjoy this match because I always confuse. Sorry, my camera's kind of messed up. It's not focusing. I think it's my glasses. It's like reflecting off my glasses. All right. I see like the. Am I still on mute? Okay, no, I'm not. I see Hideo Itami and Akira Tozawa, but I think Itami, that's another person they lost out on because of this whole not getting used properly, or such. But I thought it was a good match. They weren't as many high flyers as I thought it would be. Tozawa had that cool somersault senton out to the outside. They said Tozawa or Tommy? Whatever. Tozawa had an awesome somersault to the outside. I was still shocked that this guy's a cruiserweight. It wasn't much of a cruiserweight match in my opinion, because I do prefer like one-on-one cruiserweight matches. But when it comes to the triple threat, it wasn't as good as I thought, but it wasn't bad. I think Akira Tozawa did steal a show. Unfortunately, did not win. That's my thoughts. So I'm just putting up a poll right now. So the poll saying, would you rather see a brand split pay-per-views to showcase more talent, or combined pay-per-views, pay-per-view that is 4+ hours long with all the talent on one show? So I'll probably put it for about a 1 day period. Oh, sure, maybe I should just do it for hours. I'll do it for like about 30 minutes actually, and we'll see what you guys think and see if we get how many votes we get. And I'll post the link right now. I'm tweeting it out, and I'll post a link, and you guys can vote on it right now and tell me what y'all think. But yeah, let's go on to the next match. So that means we have a new champion, Drew Gulak. All right. Next match is with the man, the Raw Women's Champion, Becky Lynch, against Lacey Evans. I think you want to do this match as well, right?
Yeah. Mainly because I am still on the Becky Lynch train, even though I kind of feel like she's kind of lost some luster in her writing, in the way she's being written, not in her personally. But yeah, so I believe this holds over from Money in the Bank, which was the last pay-per-view, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I can never remember.
Because it's supposed to be Backlash, but this was actually Backlash. And hey girl, hey, welcome Rain as well.
Lacey, who is all about the whole femininity and like conservative viewpoint of things, and doesn't like the brassness of Becky Lynch with the man. So this spewed out probably like pre-Money in the Bank into post Money in the Bank to where they're more one-on-one now that she's no longer Becky Two Belts. And so excuse me. Actually, I don't know why, but the crowd was shouting out "You can't wrestle" to Lacey, which I don't think that's really true. I am intrigued with her character, although I think some of the conservative side views can be a little too pushed upon, but that's besides the point. She's still green, a little green. She's not even a full year into her main roster. Well, actually, no, she is, but into her main roster in-ring work. So Becky Lynch was carrying most of the match, and then she where Lacey does this whole, once she has her opponent down for a little bit, takes a handkerchief out of her gear just to like wipe off some sweat. Although this got reversed on her when Becky bounced back up and shoved it down her throat, a la Mr. Sacco style, which I got a kick out of the crowd. But to me, I was like, okay, all right. But that also turned to be the turning point, because for the most of the match, Lacey seemed to be getting the best of her with some of her working strikes and stuff like that. But then we saw, after a couple of near falls going on, Lynch applied the disarm her into a submission, which probably was one of the quickest taps I've seen, at least on the woman's side, in a long time. I didn't know why they went with that decision for the quick tap out when I'm pretty sure she's had Lacey in the timer for a longer period of time. Because I don't remember them really working her arm that much for that to be the play out scenario. But the right person won still. Lacey's, like I said, a little too green to have that championship belt around her waist now, and we get to tell a little bit more stories with Becky as champion.
Yeah, so actually she did hit the an armbar earlier in the match, which Michael Cole incorrectly said, "Oh, he's got a disarmer on her," which Corey Graves then corrected her, saying, "No, that's actually just an armbar he has on her." Because I think the disarmer, you'd have her flipped over on her stomach and then pulling it back like that. That's more the disarmer. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff in the chat supporting you, Delisha. Bobby Slater says, "Okay, I'm a Lacey Evans fan, but I have zero clue what happened to her wrestling skills that she had at NXT." Otara says, "One word, Vince." And then Big Time Concur saying this is way different than NXT, but she didn't really participate in any takeovers, maybe one or two. So she's still fairly green, and says she was nervous. And then Big Time goes listen to D. She's very smart. I also feel like she's good. She'll be good down the line. I think her push was due to Rousey departing. I don't see anything special about Lacey Evans. She's very lackluster, very uninteresting. She just strolls around the ring. There's absolutely nothing. They hype her up so much with her little fashion show she used to have every week. Yeah, I think I remember seeing her doing like some flips on some highlight packages I've seen of her, like some like kind of what Akira Tozawa did. I mentioned last match. I think she did that off her top or finisher, something like that as a flip or something. I don't know. Maybe it's her. I don't even know if it's her. But yeah, I don't know. She's not as. Let's just say she makes a better referee than a wrestler in my eyes, from what I see.
Yeah, for me, I think I'd put her like low middle of the pack. Like if I don't see her on TV for a while, I would probably forget about her. But yeah, like I said, I think it really comes down to the experience. Because I feel like she has the ring presence, and as she works on her promos more, she could be that, I just can't stand her heel type of person. And she was starting to get like some momentum in her heelness in NXT, and then they just pulled her up. So yeah, I feel like if giving her the proper chance, if she gets some experience down the line, maybe in about a year or so, we might be seeing a different tune, or we just be like, I'm tired of her, she needs to go away. But who knows? We'll check in.
Welcome, entertain. Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens with her. Right now, I'd currently rather see Santina Morella than Lacey Evans. All right, that brings us to our next match. With that, coincidentally, you are also covering this match. It's the New Day against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
All right.
Just so you guys know, just so you guys know, it's not like Delisha doing everything. We had, I asked her, which matches do you want to cover? She said, this one. I guess, I don't know if she knew that they were all in a row or not, but, these are the matches she picked that she wanted to do.
Yeah, so I didn't realize that until about 10 minutes before, and I'm like, okay, it's kind of too late to change the format a little bit. So I was like, we'll just go with it. But yeah, this one, I was actually kind of looking forward to, because we have the return of Big E, fully. I mean, they teased us with it a few weeks ago, and then he got, knocked out by someone, and then he went away for a little bit. But yeah, this is, then he made a full return, I believe. If it wasn't last week, it was the week before. But yeah, I was just glad to see these four mix it up in the ring, because I feel like these four have really good chemistry, and they kind of are some of the workhorses of the business right now. The whole we'll do anything, we'll put our bodies on the line, type of deal to put on a good show. So when you see these names on the title card, you're like, oh, we're gonna get a good one here. And it didn't have much of a storyline build. I feel like it made up for that in some of its intensity and just good showmanship. I think we started off with 3 chin kicks. I think 1 to Big E and 2, maybe 3 to Xavier, who was selling those quite well, by the way. But then I think after that he got the Blue Thunder Bomb from Sami Zayn, and he was still kicking out of it. So I think we've seen in the past that Xavier has that resiliency much like Kofi persona when they're in the ring. So, but seeing that, I did say if this match is over 30 seconds, I'm gonna be so mad. But it wasn't. It went on for maybe about 5 to 10, which I was pretty good. But as any tag team would, they went after the bigger man first to keep him off the apron so that they can continue working on Xavier Woods. And then I don't. It was just I forget. Sometimes I forget how strong Xavier Woods is because he lifted Big E onto his shoulders to do like I don't know what they call it. Not like a flapjack slam, but some just a slam.
It was like an electric chair into a.
Oh, okay, yeah. Thanks.
Slam.
Onto Sammy, I think that was. Either way, it was still cool. But and then later on, you see Big E like spare Sami Zayn through like the ropes that took him out of the match, I believe, and Sammy, which then later on will play a part a few moments later when Owens like trips Woods off the top rope and then gave him a stunner, and then they had him and Zayn winning, which they weren't doing much of lately. So that was pretty cool to see. I think the New Day as it stands, with Kofi, when Kofi's off doing a championship stuff, they can be that team to put over other teams. I mean, they've been doing it for a while, but just having good matches. But even to elevate Sammy and KO was a little bit as they're trying to do their heel thing once more. So overall, I thought it was a pretty fun match. Like I said, we didn't have much story behind it, but the match between these two teams were pretty good.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Slater also said the things he's got to give Woods credit for lifting Big E. That was a great spot that you mentioned. I enjoyed that. I was going to bring that up if you didn't. Aaron said he couldn't believe it, and he thought Slater thought Sammy died after that spear. I think it was a great match overall. I think the ending was kind of like ugly because the camera work was bad. Like it was kind of like a botched hell of a kick or whatever you call it by or I don't know who took it. Like I don't know if he took it right or if it's just the camera was bad or whatever it was. It just looked bad, and then like that was supposed to send him into the pop-up powerbomb, and that they didn't get the pin there because I think he got it with the stunner at the end. But it was for this a lot of talent in the ring. I think they're very good. I really think Sammy and Kevin Owens are great together, but I kind of want to see Sammy on his own now and like get pushed a little bit and see what he can do with that. Maybe making an IC title run or something like that. But it was a good match, and then I just still want to see the New Day just end. With that said, we do have 20 minutes left in the poll. We already got 8 votes. I won't tell you which way it's swaying yet, but there's 20 minutes left in the poll. If you guys want to go check it out, I did drop the link. I can drop it again for you guys. If you haven't taken it, please share it out and retweet it and answer it honestly, what you'd like to see. And I was just going to bring up the point that you said about the NXT being – the NXT's kind of just like doesn't have all those belts either or those 2 brands. I get if they have NXT UK, but now NXT UK is in their own pay-per-view. So that's kind of like a brand split pay-per-view in itself, so they can work those storylines by themselves as well, if you think about it. So that's why they can get away with those kind of things, I think. Just because I don't watch enough to know, honestly, but I did see when I was watching the last pay-per-view, they said that NXT TakeOver UK is having their own pay-per-view. So I'm like, oh, now they're getting their own kind of thing. So I guess that is, in a way, a brand split, which I still think it should happen. All right. But that shouldn't influence you guys' decision in your poll. Vote how you feel, honest. All right, the next match featured Ricochet vying for the U.S. Championship, which is held by Samoa Joe, who got it back after Rey Mysterio had to relinquish it after the botched pin attempt where Samoa Joe's shoulders were like hanging from the rafters. So this was actually a match more so by Ricochet than anything. Joe gets a lot of credit for being a big dude who can move, but I felt like Ricochet just kept bouncing off of him in this match. He kind of ricocheted off of him, if you will. A lot of slams also where, like, my favorite slam that Samoa Joe does is like that sidewalk slam or side slam where he like leans into him, gets him like in a rock bottom. Unagi, is it called the Unagi or something? Unagi's shrimp, I think. Somebody in the chat will probably give me the name of it. It's called like Unagi or something. But Uranagi, I think it's called the Uranagi. That slam is so beautiful that Samoa Joe does. But this match is basically like Samoa Joe's just throwing Ricochet around. That's pretty much all this match was. And like Ricochet just doing like flip after flip after flip after flip after flip after flip. Like every clothesline was like either a reverse sunset, whatever you call that, a moonsault, or if he's thrown forward, he was a somersault. Like it was just like that over and over. Now that I think of that, it's like somersault, moonsault, sunset flip. Wow, now I get it all. Anyway, welcome Minecraft as well. That's what I wanted. The brand split, except for the four big pay-per-views. That's what I was saying earlier in the show. It was basically Ricochet putting on a show of all his athleticism and Samoa Joe just not killing him, basically. And the match ended with Samoa Joe getting like knocked out in the corner, and then Ricochet went to the top where Michael Cole goes, "Oh my God, what's he gonna do?" Ricochet has like one move off the top rope, I think, like that. He's gonna do when he's taking his time to do that. Like, I mean, I know he has a lot of moves off the top. He's a high flyer, but like when he's setting up and like taking his time, that's gonna be his finishing move, which is called like I don't even know what it's called, but it's like 400,000 flips and into a senton. It's like the 720 or something. I don't even know what it's called. Whatever it's called, it's a lot of flips and lands the senton, and they got the 1-2-3 pin. And then, he walked out and he had like a lot of wrestlers in the back. I don't know why it made a difference, but Triple H being, the NXT guy, I think Triple H might have been the guy who signed Ricochet. He shook his hand. I think people like Carmelo were back there, Charlotte Flair, some random people, as well as Heavy Machinery, whose match was next. That makes more sense. And then later on this back, like we're talking about AJ Styles and the Alpha, in the Bullet Club, I want to say, but whatever they're called, the Anderson and Gallows were back there. What is their names? Do they even have a names? Or there's Anderson and
Club.
Gallows? The Club? Okay. So they were there saying, like, trying to get him to do the Bullet Club sign or whatever, or the Wolfpack sign, whatever you want to call it. So Ricochet's here now, your new United States champion. Air Ricochet is really, really good. 630 it's called? Okay, 630. I think it's more than a 630, I feel like, but maybe it's not more than 630. Who knows? He just does a lot of flips. And that's what he does. He bounces off. I was saying Ricochet is basically that match is showing off Ricochet's athleticism. It was just Samoa Joe not killing him, just hitting him really hard enough that Ricochet could flip 4 million times. And that's basically what the match was. But it was a good match, I guess. It wasn't that great. But I remember big time retweeting about like Ricochet is getting the push that Rey Mysterio probably should have gotten. Or maybe his son should have gotten. All right, the next match, I think I'm covering this one. It's features your SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan, against Heavy Machinery. One is called Otis. The other one's called something else. I don't know what their names are. Is it Otis and something?
I do. Otis is one, and I do forget the other guy's name because everyone just knows Otis. But I'll look it up real quick.
Okay, thank you. Look up Prince Puma and Lucha Underground. But yeah, so I was wondering, I think I tweeted this a few weeks ago. Why does Daniel Bryan's belt normal?
Tucker Knight, by the way.
Tucker? Okay, thank you.
Tucker Knight, yeah.
Why does he have a normal belt? Like the whole thing about his WWE Championship, he had the eco-friendly belt. Okay, now this was in Washington, so like I don't think they were going to lose. And that's because everyone knows Daniel Bryan's from Washington, so I was hoping he'd get injured permanently. That wasn't going to happen because it's Heavy Machinery. If you drop Heavy Machinery on a plant or a tree, they knock him down. Then pretty much kills him, takes him out. And that's what I was hoping for, but it did not happen. They were cheering for Daniel Bryan because they wanted him in the ring because it being his home state. I missed the Bludgeon Brothers. This match was like really well wrestled by all of them. Actually, surprisingly, everyone is really good for a big guy. But talk about big for a good guy. Talk about really good for a big guy. Otis, man, he picked up Eric Rowan. He does the caterpillar, which is kind of like a variation of the worm. The exchange on the suplex. I think he did Bryan up for a suplex. And then he gives it over to the Tucker, and Tucker holds on to him and then suplexes him. That was cool. Like, it was really good showcase of power by the Heavy Machinery, as well as Eric Rowan had some great moments too. But Daniel Bryan can't really do much against these big guys in the ring, but he does show his athleticism off in the ring. Then he ended up getting the pin because I think he just rolled up. Maybe it was Tucker. Basically, Heavy Machinery was cleaning house, so it didn't make Heavy Machinery look weak. But right when Tucker, I think, took Eric Rowan on the outside, he was climbing back into the ring. Daniel Bryan rolled him up and pinned him 1, 2, 3. So they retained. But everyone looked really good in the match. No one looked weak. I really liked how they showcased Otis because he looked really strong in the match. Great slams, great power, everything. And I think I like Heavy Machinery as a tag team. Like I'm all about tag team wrestling. That's why I always love the Usos because they actually work well as a tag team. I hate seeing people put together, except for like Sheamus and Cesaro because they're the best entrants in wrestling. I don't really like when people are just put together. Like, remember when Aleister Black? Oh, yeah, that's another person. What about Aleister Black? Where is he at? When Aleister Black and Ricochet were put together, I was like, oh, that's a waste of two great individual talents being put together. Rarely do we see them two individually talents. I don't want to say never, but rarely do we see. Whereas I rather see these formed. Obviously, these guys have been individuals. Probably most people have been, besides Usos, have been since day zero, or whatever you call them, or since day one they are. like, you know, they're individuals that are put together as a tag team, but they come in as a tag team. You know what I mean? Like as like Authors of Pain and all that kind of stuff. And these guys, Heavy Machinery and the Viking Raiders or War Experience, whatever their name is now, those guys, you know, better than seeing Daniel Bryan and Rowan put together as an individual tag team, like Kane and him, basically. You know, but these two guys, I'm looking forward to seeing their futures, seeing them fight other tag teams, even the Viking Experience or War Raiders or whatever they're called now. Viking Raiders. I don't know what they're called, but that other tag team seemed different than these guys and the Authors of Pain. I'm looking forward to the tag team division, especially with these kind of matches. But yeah, so Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan retain. I miss the Bludgeon Brothers. Did you see your thoughts?
Yeah, I enjoy this match as well. I'm still kind of like on the fence, but leaning towards positively about Heavy Machinery. I don't know. They kind of didn't do it for me in NXT, but they're slowly. I'm slowly getting on board with them as a tag team. I do think they definitely have ring presence and charisma. So they definitely can do that as a face to get the crowd on their side. And that spot with Daniel just kicking him over and over, and then Otis just taking it and then doing the whole flip thing. I thought that was a really good spot. And like you said, I think they did a really good job of selling Heavy Machinery as a team, because we're already on board with, well, besides you, with Daniel Bryan and Rowan. They're secure, they're set. They don't need much build up, but Heavy Machinery, they're the new guys on the block. So I'm glad that they did the proper thing as you should be, of putting them over, even though they took the loss.
Yeah, thank you to Slater and Arrington for saying Tucker Knight, along with Alicia who said it. They covered me as well in the chat. And Slater wants me to take back the Daniel Bryan comments, but I will not, because Daniel Bryan is a waste of time and space in the WWE universe. All right. Next match. It is, I'm covering this one as well. Features your WWE SmackDown Women's Champion, Bayley, a.k.a. the placeholder, against the goddess herself, my number one WWE wife, Alexa Bliss, with Nikki Cross in her corner. This match, pretty much, I think, Alexa Bliss, I'm trying to think, pretty much dominated from almost wire to wire. She was, doing her normal athletic moves, the slaps too that she had, just being her normal character, borderline heel, more so heel, but doing kind of some stuff that the fans love. Pretty much dominating the match for the most part until we got to the outside, where she's outside and Bayley's going for the suicide dive, and then Nikki Cross jumps in her way, according to Corey Graves, to save Alexa Bliss. Whereas if you watch the replay, Alexa's kind of pulling her in. And then there was like a botched ending, which I wasn't happy about. Bayley comes into the ring. I think Alexa might have done the spike DDT, and then Alexa went to the top for the. I think she might have done the spike DDT earlier, or tried to go for it, but Bayley reversed it. But then it was eventually reversed where Bayley got to the ground. Alexa went to the top, or I don't know, I forgot what it was, but yeah, I think Alexa went to the top, and then for some reason Nikki Cross got onto the apron. I don't know why. When Nikki Cross got after Alexa was probably going for Twisted Bliss, and was going to easily win the match. She got onto the apron, which distracted the referee. So Alexa looked to the bottom, and then Bayley looked away. And then they got back up again, and it was kind of like they tried to do it. They tried to redo the spot, I guess, and it was messed up again. It was I just remember something being off about that ending. And then Alexa was taken off the top and put into a Bayley to Bayley, or Bayley to Bayley, whichever way it goes. And then 1, 2, 3, Bayley retained, and then Bayley kind of looked at Nikki Cross like, "What are you doing?" kind of thing, and Nikki Cross like, "Get out of here! Like, this is my friend." But and Alexis looked kind of hurt and just depressed as she lost, obviously. But I don't know what was going on with that. And yet, do you know what was happening? It was like a botch, or it just seemed very awkward, that ending.
Yeah, I'm not so sure what was up with that either. I don't know if it wasn't a botch. It may be the only thing I can think to help them maybe salvage that is to maybe planting the seeds of Nikki turning on Alexa, but yeah, I'm not really sure, because I don't know if I'm just seeing that because that's what I want, but yeah, I don't know what was kind of up with that either, but yeah,
I don't Tara agrees with me about Daniel Bryan, and Slater likes to make Nikki Cross. I like Nikki Cross and Sanity. I remember the first time I ever saw Sanity was with you when we went to the NXT in Brooklyn, I think it was. And they had that really cool entrance where they went up in canon, like 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. They went up and they came out in like 1, 2, 3, 4. It was really cool. I liked her personality there. She was like a high flyer, like jumping out, taking out those big guys, like Author of Pain. I think she took a spear from one of the Authors of Pain or something. That was ridiculous. And that's what I like. I don't like seeing her as like a little lackey. Like Alexa Bliss always has her little lackeys, but she doesn't need that. This might be trying to help Nikki Cross in the long run to bring her personality out and have someone that like she can look towards. But Nikki Cross is great as that psychopath. It's harder with her not being in the stable kind of thing, but she was great in NXT from what I saw. So I mean, it's kind of, I think, a detriment to her character. Because look at her picture too. There, she looks psychotic there in the picture. You know, not that sweet little Nikki Cross that we're normally used to seeing nowadays when she's Alexa Bliss. But yeah, I think it's kind of a waste having her out there. It would have been a great match between her, Alexa and Bayley 1-on-1 without having Nikki Cross ruin the ending. That's what I would rather have seen, and having Nikki Cross be her own crazy person. Nikki has more personality than the whole roster. I don't know about that because
I don't know about that
because we have Becky and Alexa, you know. So,
but yeah, like I said, I'm hoping that this is all not a ruse, but like, or some way we get Psycho Nikki back, because I feel like that's a persona that she really had worked on and really was crafting that. And because Bayley did plant the seeds of that, of saying, you know, Alexa's just using you. This is what she does to people who work with her. And she started naming like Naya and Mickey, and I think she named Tamina. I don't remember. But yeah, so I do hope that this is something down the line that we're gonna get like Alexa and a Nikki feud going on. And because Bayley needs something a little bit stronger, because she's starting to fall into that unforgettable title reign. Like, sometimes I forget she's the champion, which you should never forget who the champions are. So I'm hoping that we get something a little bit stronger.
And Eric says he wonders how long until Nikki gets that gimmick as well. So, too late to say not Seth Rollins. We got 5 minutes left on the poll, so there's a link one last time for you guys. I'll give you the results once we end it. Next match, I think I'm covering the next few matches. I don't know. We'll see. I think actually, there's only 3 more matches. I'm covering 2 of them. So the next match is why are we having this match again, and probably going to see it one more time tonight, and then probably see it the next pay-per-view as well. Why is this still going on? That's another person. Why is Drew McIntyre being held back by Roman Reigns, and vice versa? Or conversely, why is Roman Reigns being held back by Drew McIntyre? They should be doing their own thing on different brands. I think, you know, Roman Reigns being on SmackDown could vie for the SmackDown Championship, even though I don't really care. It's not called the SmackDown Championship, but whatever it's called, the WWE title. He could be, and then, you know, this guy could be going for the Universal title. Unfortunately, we're not seeing that at the moment. It would be great to see that. I'd love to see that. But instead they're fighting each other because the whole Shane McMahon thing that we talked about earlier. Why is Shane McMahon still a thing? I don't even want to talk about this match because it's basically the same match that we saw at WrestleMania, just worse. And the one thing we did see, if you want to see this match, go back to WrestleMania. I think it was a better match of this. This is just completely worthless. The only thing that will be different is that Shane was ringside here and he did the coast to coast on Roman Reigns, which didn't even look good because they had to change the camera angle, obviously. Eventually, Roman Reigns hits the stupidest move over and over and over. I don't know why the Superman punches. Like, what even cocking it? What does that even do? It's not like if he exposed something out like a Wolverine claw or something came out when he went like this. That would be cooler. Or for like little, you know, like when Narcissist, or back when when Lex Luthor became the Narcissist, he had the steel plate in his thing when he took off that thing and put the steel, you know, that thing. But that would be cool if he had like a steel fist or something. I don't know, like moving that around. That would be cooler. But he hit the Superman punch like 87 times that match. No joke. He hit it like 87 times. And then I think he finally hit a spear on Drew McIntyre and pinned him 1, 2, 3. Shane was upset. You know, Roman went back triumphant, but they're probably going to – after that match, Shane said we're going to have a 2-on-1 match against you guys tonight on Raw. Myself and Drew McIntyre will fight you tonight on Raw. And then I think I've heard rumors that it's going to be the match again on Extreme Rules. 2-on-1 handicap tables match or something match. I think there's a lot of matches that are repeating from this pay-per-view, rumored matches that are repeating from this pay-per-view to the next one. But there's going to be Extreme Rules in the next one. Why are we still having this match? These guys should be on their own, doing their own thing, more so for Drew McIntyre, because I really want to see him flourish as a single superstar, as a heel. He's probably one of the best heels we have in the business on the WWE right now. That is just being, you know, now's his time. He failed the first time around WWE. You know, we gave him the Rookie of the Year for AfterMat Season 2 award. I think he can carry the ball put him against Seth Rollins for like a good feud. No need to have the Shield around because we don't have the Shield anymore. But no need to have Roman Reigns in his corner. No need to have Shane McMahon. I love stables. I love stables. So that whole revival thing with these guys would be cool. But Shane McMahon does not need to be on TV all the time. He could be like the financier or whatever. He could be like the one who books the matches because he has power. But he doesn't need to be on the mic every week. Just make it like Drew can say, I'm getting this match because my buddy Shane, whatever. And Ryan will be like, we're getting this match because our buddy Shane. But we don't need Shane to be on TV taking up the spotlight from these guys that deserve it. And that's my thoughts. But Roman Reigns won the match once again. And Eric says, actually, UFC fighters don't spam the Superman punches Roman Reigns does. And yeah, you got to make Drew is like a bizarre Reigns in Taker versus Taker. Yeah, it does look like Taker versus Taker here, but it's not. Any thoughts on this, Alicia? Or the whole Shane McMahon thing? Oh, one last thing to say. One thing. Shane McMahon is rumored to continue his great run of being the best in the world. Plus, his intro takes like 20 minutes because they got to say best in the world for like 5 minutes. They might have him beat Kofi for the title. That's the rumor right now, which is so stupid. But yeah, anyway, go ahead, Alicia. Sorry to interrupt you.
I will literally, cry. I don't know. Yeah, this... full disclosure, I didn't really pay attention to this match because I've seen it already. And I agree with you. I am totally done with Shane. It was fun. I mean, it wasn't fun. It was fine in the beginning where he was just being the overlord, playing up the boss's son angle. But we are way into overexposure territory here, and it's dangerous. And I don't want to see any combination of Reigns and Shane and McIntyre. Again, we don't need it. McIntyre is what happened to him, man? He was so great when he first debuted with the heel and stuff, and now they keep pairing him with these people that he doesn't need to be paired with. He could be great on his own, but I don't know. It's kind of depressing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's being held back. It's just stupid. I don't know. It's really stupid. I think the poll is about to end right now, so I'm going to give you guys the results before we move to the next match. I think we have the final 2 matches coming up for ourselves. So you agree that basically that we should get rid of Shane from this? Maybe I don't mind having Shane as like the authority figure in the background. Just don't bring him on the camera, but don't bring on the mic. He could just, if he's going to be on the mic, be on for like 1 second, but as a video segment saying, we're going to have this match restart or something or whatever, just to help Drew McIntyre, the Revival, get pushed forward. Not them being carried, like, tagged along Shane kind of thing.
Agreed.
The poll has ended. We have 12 votes. 42%. So the losing side. So here's the exact poll. Would you rather see brand split pay-per-views to showcase more talent, or combine brand pay-per-views that is for pay-per-view that is 4+ hours long with all the talent on one pay-per-view, meaning Raw and SmackDown on one pay-per-view? 42% say they'd rather have a combined pay-per-view. 58% say a brand split pay-per-view. So the 58% go with how I feel that they should have a split pay-per-view. 12. It's only 12 votes, but not bad.
Still seem to be slightly split.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Brand split. But yeah, and Otero says Shane can totally pull off the Bischoff type angle and create a stable, but they aren't really pulling the trigger. And like you said, a super authority figure. Exactly. That's why exactly I would love to see. Not him taking away time from these guys. But yeah, the Bischoff type figure would be great to see for him. All right. Next match, I think it's the one you're covering, which features the WWE title match where your champion Kofi Kingston against Dolph Ziggler in a Stone Cold match. In a steel cage match, not a Stone Cold match.
Oh, that's something to think about later. But yeah, I haven't been over the moon with this feud, but I am glad that Ziggler is trying something different. Although I think he is another one who's way past due. But this time with theme music, I think he needs to maybe switch that up a little bit, as we're sort of changing his character slightly. I'm definitely glad we got rid of that record scratch because that was just pointless for the last couple of months. But yeah, we saw this match as a cage match. Again, I wasn't really enthused with this as well because we just had one at last pay-per-view between whoever that was, I forgot. Sorry. But the Miz and Shane, we just had one of those like maybe a month or two beforehand, so it didn't feel like a fresh type of match. But we had Ziggler kind of had the upper hand, I feel like, for the majority of this match. Although I believe Kofi was getting some good strikes in, especially putting Ziggler's face up to the cage. But again, I feel like with a lot of these cage matches, we've seen almost every possible sort of like maneuver and outcome, so they don't feel I don't know, like they don't feel as fresh as we used to be. Until we get to the end, which we did get a fresh take on something else. But we did get a lot of close uh close calls, so to speak, especially the whole played out of both people going to the top of the cage and holding on to one another so that either one could try to fall, and then they go back in the ring and fight some more. But I feel like the most memorable of this match would be Ziggler continually trying to get out of the ring via the doorway. Which I don't know why I noticed this, but I did realize Ziggler doesn't tan himself all the way. So I don't know. I got distracted by that. So, but it looked like Ziggler was going to get the win and finally get the Universal Championship. Because I feel like if he didn't have his hands on the mat, he had them close by. And Kofi was on the other side of the ring, so you're like, are they actually going to get Ziggler? But no, Kofi, using all his athleticism, does like a suicide dive through the rope to land first onto the mat, which also was another gem by Michael Cole, saying his both feet did hit the floor, so he won. I'm like, his whole body's on the floor. Of course he won. But I thought that was a little fresh take on exiting the ring because it's usually via the top of the cage or someone exiting throughout the door, just climbing out, or beating someone so bad that they actually get the walk out, which we've seen sometimes, or someone interfering, hitting them with the door. But anyway, this is another fresh take. But I'm kind of done with these two. I'm kind of ready for Kofi to feud someone new. Someone we haven't really seen him feud, or maybe Andrade. It'd be pretty cool to see him. Or maybe he will be the one to challenge Aleister Black. Which is, you haven't seen him, Kyle, because he's been doing promos on SmackDown asking why hasn't anyone approached me to fight, which is a whole other thing, because I would like you could just go to the ring and ask for a match, but that's besides the point. So I would like to see Kofi take on, maybe help bring up some of that newer talent, because while this is his first like big main championship, he is a veteran. So as veterans should want to do to help make the business grow is help do some programs with some of the other newer talent that has been brought on in the last year or so. So it'd be kind of cool to see that again.
Yeah, for a match that, like, I think the steel cage kind of confined these guys. They couldn't do as much. It didn't look as spectacular because they're confined by a steel cage. Like, these guys are tremendous athletes in the ring. Arguably, probably the two best athletes in WWE from the veteran talent side of things. Like, I really thought they were confined by the steel cage. It's more of a trap for them from them doing their crazy moves and awesome stuff that they could do. But like I said, like I do agree with you that, like, as soon as it happened, I think you and I were texting about it. It was in our group chat with Tom. Like, the fresh take was that seeing him suicide dive out. That was great. That was a cool way to finish it. But the one thing I do want to say about that, with Michael Cole saying both feet, his whole body's on the ground, but he says both feet touch the ground. Do not forget, Royal Rumble this year, Kacy Catanzaro, her whole body went out, but just because her feet didn't touch, she was still in it. So she like backflipped up and like climbed it. So like, that's what I said. If you're going to the Royal Rumble, just cut off your feet. You'll win the Royal Rumble every year until they make a new rule. If you don't have feet, you can't lose the Royal Rumble.
No, I got that, but he was laying supine on the ground.
That is true. But yeah, like, it's just stupid. Like, but that was great. I love the suicide dive. It was a little bit he got a little stuck up and caught on the ropes. It wasn't clean out, but hey, what can you do? That was the first time they're doing that, and it was really cool. I love seeing that. That was great to have.
At least he didn't hit the stairs.
I want to see that happen with the Ricochet one time where he jumps out, but he like flips out in between the little space that they have between the top rope and that, like he'll like flip out. Or we could have Sin Cara do it, the original Sin Cara do it, and just botch it completely, because that would be hilarious for me too. And he could fall into Goldberg, who then rolls over onto Undertaker, knocking them both out, and that would be funny. All right, that brings us to our main event. Okay, so there you go. Kofi Kingston retains the WWE Championship. That brings us to our main event, featuring the Universal Champion Seth Rollins against Baron Corbin in a match where Baron Corbin gets to pick a special guest referee. Now, I was teasing like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if Brock Lesnar was a special guest referee? But like, I don't think Baron Corbin would ever want that. In my opinion, I thought it was going to be a female.
I'd say, no, Brock's not showing up for that payday for that, just for that.
Oh yeah, the pre-show for Double or Nothing did have a wrestle with no legs. See, he should enter the Royal Rumble. He'll never lose. But yeah, my opinion, I really thought he was going to pick a female, because I know, because the whole thing was that Seth Rollins kept going around beating people with chairs. He wasn't going to hit a woman. Honestly, God, I thought he was going to pick Shayna Baszler. That way we can get a feud with, because Shayna Baszler will keep interfering, and then Becky Lynch would come out and try to save Seth Rollins, and that would start a feud between Becky and Shayna, eventually leading to a 4 horsewoman match kind of thing. Like, instead of having Rousey, because Rousey's out right now, then Rousey would eventually come back and help Shayna Baszler win, start, that kind of back and forth kind of thing. That's what I was hoping to see. That's what I thought I would see. But when he picked Lacey Evans, that I think I tweeted right away, this means cue Becky Lynch to come in and nullify Lacey Evans and have, and I think Big Time tweeted at this point saying like, oh God, do we really need to push the whole Seth Rollins dating Becky Lynch thing? They don't need that. This is like, granted, it's like a soap opera, but like, come on, it's entertainment, sports entertainment. Like, we want to see the genuinely like kind of thing. So as soon as that happened, I'm like, oh God, I know Becky Lynch is going to come out. She's going to nullify Lacey Evans. We're going to have another referee come in, count the pin for Seth Rollins, and nothing's going to be special about it. So what did we see? Lacey Evans came out. She did a fantastic, like I said, this is where you saw her heel character really show. You saw her personality show. She did a great job as a referee. I think she did a better job as a referee than she did wrestling tonight. Her tying her boot, picking up her stockings, injuring her shoulder, all that, then changing the match to being a no count-out match, counting slowly, counting fast. I loved all that from Lacey Evans. I love seeing that. That was great. Then she made no disqualification. I'm like, oh, there's no disqualification. Therefore, Becky Lynch is going to come in as soon as she lays her hands on Seth Rollins. But she didn't come out. So we got 1 slap, 2 slap, and no Becky Lynch. I'm like, oh, wow, they're actually not going to bring her in for the first 2 attacks. Then we get the low blow where she kept her hand down there for a really long time, might I add. She did that. Then Becky Lynch came out. What did she look? Spear her or whatever, and then threw her out of the ring, started punching her outside the ring. Then the other 2 referees came out. The one referee that screwed Baron Corbin over last time came into the ring. He's like, not you, which distracted him. We had him try to go for the deep 6, I think it was. Not deep 6, the
End of days.
End of days, thank you. The end of days. We reversed that into a super kick, into another curb stomp, whatever they call it, the stomp now. 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins retains, and we have the lovey-dovey Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch moment in the ring. But no Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar didn't want to make his way to Washington, I guess. So they're probably saving it for a bigger pay-per-view. Like I said, I still think he should get his rematch clause against Seth Rollins, win that championship, cash in on Kofi, win that championship, and then never be seen again. Never be seen again, because that would bring prestige back, and we wouldn't see the belt as much. That's kind of like the old school days where the belt was only defended once every 4 months or 3 months with the big 4 pay-per-views. That's what I would love to see, because I think Brock Lesnar could do that. And I've been saying that forever on the show, and finally Big Time said, oh man, I really wish Brock Lesnar would come in and steal the title with the thing, and then I don't care if he only defends it twice a year. And I've been like, I've been saying that forever, and everyone laughed at me, but that's the way it should be, because we have too many belts right now on the thing. 7 of the 9 matches were title matches. So if he takes 2 of those belts in the way that I've been saying since WrestleMania it was, or whatever it was, since Money in the Bank, I've been saying that. Since after the Money in the Bank, after he got the cash in. So he has 2 ways of getting each title. 1 way of getting each title, so 2 titles. They should do that. That'd be great. If they did that, they should pay me a little bit of money, because I came up with it. And that way we'd never see the WWE titles, either of the major titles, except for once in a while. And that would give more of the lower card people something to do and all that. And then Brock Lesnar would be more and more heat, and that'd be great to see. That's another good thing about Atara brings up a cool thing. He says he'd like to see a Rich DiBiase type character buy the money in the bank briefcase from Brock Lesnar, since Brock Lesnar's all about the money, and the surprise cashes on someone else. So that'd be very cool. That'd be very cool. See that happen. Maybe someone like an EC3. Like, I think he's supposed to be kind of rich, right? Because he always comes with a scarf or whatever, and he had like a helicopter promo or whatever when he first came out.
EC3.
But yeah, that's another person. EC3 is another person that who's just fed to Elias or whatever happened. No, I don't know what happened. Something happened. But yeah, so Rollins is still your Universal Champion. No Brock Lesnar. Baron Corbin is probably going to fight him again now at Extreme Rules and tables matches, from what I'm hearing. Some people said it might be mixed tag of Becky and Seth versus Lacey and Baron.
Oh, that is so happening tonight, and you know it.
It might happen tonight, but they said it might happen at the pay-per-view in a tables match. If not, those.
Do you mean like a double championship match where the both belts are on the line?
Both belts are on the line, yes.
That'd be cool. We haven't seen that in a while, or if ever, but we haven't seen that in quite some time. So yeah, actually, yeah, I do remember it. No, it wasn't a double tag team match. I mean, it wasn't a double championship match. It was oh my gosh, it was someone else, and I think Maria Kanellis or one of the low tier divas. Never mind, that doesn't matter. Anyway,
any thoughts on this match?
I didn't care because I still don't care about Baron Corbin. I mean, he's great for getting the heat. I will give him that, but I didn't really care. And like you said, once Lacey Evans was the guest ref, I knew Becky Lynch was going to get involved. As far as showboating their love story on to the into WWE storyline, we've seen it before, all the time. So I'm curious of how I just don't want them to like overplay this all the time. Like, I don't want her to be overshadowed by him and vice versa, because I feel like they should be their own people, and then from time to time they can like show their support or whatever. And as far as Brock Lesnar goes, I'm glad we didn't see him tonight, or as a cash-in for sure, because I kind of like him like just be like fucking with everybody and was like, you know what, I might come out, I might not. And someone put this in my head of Brock Lesnar cashing in on Kofi on that first night of them going on Fox. And because we haven't really had Brock Lesnar as like a SmackDown person, I think, since his debut. So that'd be kind of like a full turnaround. So I think that might be kind of cool. And why not cash in on everyone's favorite champion right now? So that could be cool. Just a thought. As far as
then you'd have to show up though.
Not necessarily.
Because that's what I'm going to demand him to do. Maybe I'll pay him extra money just to do that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Fox I feel like has a little bit more buying power than USA, so he might be willing. Maybe that's already in his contract. Who knows? I don't care. But I am for the first time in a long time. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I am enjoying Brock Lesnar.
I told you, man. I've been saying forever, Lesnar's where it's at, and just never have him there. Win the belts and never have him there. That'd be awesome.
Much like with Orton, it seems like he's starting to care right now, and it's showing. So I think that's what I'm catching on to. As far as I guess going from here with stuff, they are probably going to play out with Corbin a little bit more, which I'm not excited about. Again, much like I said with Kofi, I kind of want him to introduce some newness or freshness of opponents, because we've seen him go against Corbin, we've seen him go against Reigns, we've seen him against not even if it was just for title, we've seen him against Strowman, we've seen him against Lesnar. It's time. I feel like it's time for some new feuds. I feel like that would help keep things fresh, even if down the line we revisit someone else down the line for like the pay-per-views, stuff like that. But just to, I don't know, let's put him in a feud with someone we don't get to see very often.
Yeah, but once again, we'll leave more time.
Maybe he'll go against Wyatt. We don't know. We don't know who Wyatt's going to come after. Once he
And
finally
will we get an automatic title shot? We don't know. We'll see. I feel unfortunately he might have to fight like Roman Reigns because they're gonna be like Shane's gonna be like, oh, I need something out of this world to like, or maybe he'll go back after Finn Balor and get the IC title. Who knows? So it's like supernatural. Who knows? We'll see. But with that said, we should probably move on and finish it up. Enough is enough, and it's time for a change. So yeah, your low point, your high point, and your overall grade, or our finishing.
The low point, I'm just gonna go with the overexposure of Shane McMahon. It kind of like brings me out of it to where I'm like, again. A high point, that's a little bit tougher because there wasn't really anything that blew me away this whole pay-per-view. So I think I'm going to give it to. I'll give it to both tag team matches. I feel like those are the ones that I enjoyed the most, and those were the ones that kind of kept me entertained. And anytime you can keep me off my phone because I'm bored is always great. So I think I'm gonna give it to the tag team matches, and I think overall, I think I'm going to give it an average of a C. Nothing that blew me away, but nothing like what I said at the beginning that was a dud. So I pretty much, for the most part, had an okay time.
All right, for me, I'm going to have to say my low point was probably the Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre thing. As much as I love seeing them individually, the whole Shane McMahon thing, like you said, is kind of getting hackneyed by now. It's no need for that. High point, I agree. I love the heavy machinery stuff. I love seeing them. They look good. As well as the Kofi dive. The Kofi dive was great. That was great to see. Overall grade, I'm gonna give it a D. I didn't really enjoy it. There was nothing much that I couldn't tell you one match I enjoyed thoroughly from end to end. Granted, the tag team matches were great. Missing the likes of the Usos we haven't really seen, right? And all that kind of stuff. And the Sheamus and Cesaro, we know Sheamus is injured. Cesaro's doing his own thing. But yeah, I see the tag team division going well, but right now it's kind of in a stall position. I can't even tell you who the Raw tag team champions are.
I was thinking the same thing, so I looked it up, and it's the Revival.
Okay, so Revival. Okay, so they weren't even on there. So like that's what I'm saying. Like I thought it was going to be not the B team, but those other guys, Hawkins and Ryder. Is that it? Hawkins and Ryder, but it's not. So yeah, so like that's what I'm saying. I can't tell you who the champions are. Like that's what I'm saying. It's right now it's kind of in a stall position, and I like to see the future movement. Like I think we're always saying that, and sometimes we're like, oh, it's great. This is like the most roller coaster we've ever seen division of any division. It's always in the tag division. We're like, oh my god, where's it gonna go? Where's it gonna go? Oh, it's got a great promise. And then here we go. There it goes again. That's how it's been for the last months. And right now we're kind of like it's going. You know how it goes up the hill? It's not even doing that. It's going straight across flat line right now. That's how I feel. The low point is the woke role reversal relationship ending. Entertain says. High point is a Kofi match. Grade is a C minus. Yeah, and Otarsis felt like an old school in your house type pay-per-view, short and sweet. I can't say it was sweet, but it was short. But yeah. So yeah, D. I would give it a D. I wasn't happy. But with that said, let's go and talk about Delisha. Where can we find you, and what do you have in the horizon?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at DeliciaRenee. We have we've announced the after talk type topic. A Midsummer's Dream, so we're calling it, right?
I can bring up that.
A Midsummer's Dream card, I think. Where
this is what coming up. This is what we got coming up.
A Midsummer's Night's Dream card. I just missed the letter. That's all. To where me, Cal, and our After Talk co-host Nicole is going to come up with our own pay-per-view dream card, and we are going to reveal it to each other. Well, we'll know for the most part, but we're going to reveal it to you guys later on in July. So that would be our July After Talk segment, and pretty excited. It's harder than you think. So because you have all these ideas, but you're like, okay, if I'm sitting down and making one, what do I want to see? So I look forward to seeing everyone's card and the reasoning behind it. So maybe think of you guys dream card matches, a couple of you, and drop them in the comments once we put on that show, because I'm interested to see what the fans would think of their own dream matches that they would love to see And I guess maybe slight asterisk. I presume if we're doing like legend stuff, they're probably in their prime. Like we're not taking Undertaker from today, because that would just be all kinds of sad if we were to choose a Undertaker match. That is. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I feel like it's gonna be a lot of fun.
I sent you and Nicole the rules, but I will be posting the rules, or they will be shown on the show. When the show starts, I'll post the rules on the actual show as we're going through the show, and we'll probably have like a vote for you guys too at the end. Who's if you could only watch one pay-per-view of all three of ours that year, pay money and go see front row, which pay-per-view would you guys go to? So we'll have that kind of thing after we all present our pay-per-views and stuff like that. But yeah, that's coming mid-July. What else you got going on, Delisha?
At the moment, that's about it. And then working on our final topic for later on in the year for After Talk. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna throw this out to the fans. Me and Cal have been thinking of possibly doing a second AfterMat shirt. So if you don't know, we had our first one with our initial crew of me, Cal, and Eric Monroe. With us on the ring, with AfterMat behind us. But I feel like it's time for a second shirt. We know we have some new people around. We have some new listeners. Oh, awesome that you have that in your back pocket. We have some new listeners. We have some new correspondents and co-hosts. So, you know what? We have our fans are pretty spivey and creative. If you have a design that you might want to see or give us some inspiration on, why don't you tweet it at us? And again, at Delisha Renee on Twitter, and then Kyle will give his a little bit later on. And you know what? Maybe I might have something in the works for you if I like it, if we like your design. Besides just a shout out, and if we actually like what you guys tweet out or design for us, might have something for you. So that's something to think about.
I know Otero is actually a great artist, so Otero might be interested in that. We do a contest for that for the show. But yeah, so you got her email. I mean, sorry, you got her Facebook. You got her Twitter. I was gonna say Facebook because do you want to mention Joe as well before we go? Because it's always a show. It's not a show until we mention where we can find.
Oh yeah. So yeah, our fact checker Joe, who is hard at work, busting around in the greater suburb of Philadelphia. We are on the quest for someone to find him on Facebook at, I believe, is just Joe Butler. I'm not going to tell you what he looks like if you're new. So I want you might have to look at some old AfterMat videos to get that if you want to cheat and look at his profile picture. Actually, I think I'm in it, so I guess you could recognize me. Try to find him on Facebook, and if he adds you, again, I might have something for you. So guys, I don't see anyone trying, or you're not screenshotting that you're trying. So try, and you never know what will happen when you do. Just saying. ...
All right. Yeah, as for me, no? Okay. As for me, you can find me over here on the Kingslayer Network or on Twitter at KingslayerNet. I am the People's Champ. I also stream pretty much every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern, unless I'm preempted by this show. So Mondays when I do this show, I don't stream. But otherwise, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern. And then Thursdays, right now, we're going at 9 p.m. Eastern, streaming with Halo_Smythe, as well as Geek to Nerd, and sometimes Randall, playing some Marvel Ultimate Alliance until Marvel Alliance 3 comes out. We're going through the first two games, then anticipation of Part 3 coming out mid-July as well. So we have a lot of stuff doing that weekend, busy weekend for us, because we're going to have, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, and then we'll have Extreme Rules, and then we'll also have After Talk with the Midsummer Night's Dream card. But yeah, so we do have a bunch of stuff coming up. So yeah, it's Monday, Wednesday, Fridays here, and Thursdays on the Kingslaying Network over here. And the next time you'll see us here on AfterMat will be after Extreme Rules, which I think is on July 14th. So you'll see us July 15th. Delisha, are you going to that?
No.
You're not going?
No.
Yeah, I have my.
Just got a car, so money's kind of low right now.
Yes.
Or if I find possibly, but we'll see.
Yeah, I want to go, but unfortunately, I can't say unfortunately, but I have my my cousin's surprise birthday party coming up. So the day before, so I couldn't be there and then go to what's it called? Philly for that. And then, so we'll be back July 15th with Extreme Rules. And then the week right after that, July 22nd, pretty much 1 month from now, 1 month from 2 days ago, we're going to be doing our AfterMat, After Talk, episode 3, Midsummer Night's Dream card. So that's pretty much it. So until next time, guys, make sure you keep slamming on the haters and be the champion of your dreams. See you next time, guys.
See ya.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. We'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on